You feel it. That constant hum of pressure, the weight of unspoken worries, the feeling that true, lasting peace is always just out of reach. Modern life often feels like a relentless storm, and stress, its unwelcome companion, seems to follow our every step. We search for relief, for a moment of calm, but the storm often returns, fiercer than before. Is there a way to find shelter, not just for a moment, but for good? We're told stress is a part of success, a badge of honor in a busy world. Yet deep down, we know this constant tension isn't sustainable. It frays our nerves, clouds our judgment, and steals our joy. We're caught in a cycle of striving and surviving, often forgetting what it truly means to live, to breathe freely. This isn't just your struggle, it's a silent epidemic of the modern age. What if the answer wasn't about finding a bigger umbrella, but about understanding the nature of the storm itself? What if the key to ending stress for good wasn't a new technique, but an ancient secret, a timeless wisdom that has guided souls to serenity for millennia? This isn't about fighting the storm, but learning to find the calm eye within it, a peace that external circumstances cannot touch. Thousands of years ago, a prince named Siddhartha Gautama, who later became known as the Buddha or the Awakened One, embarked on a profound journey. He saw the suffering inherent in human existence, particularly the pervasive nature of stress and dissatisfaction. He wasn't a god, but a human being who sought and found a definitive end to this inner turmoil. The secret he uncovered isn't hidden in some remote monastery or written in an inaccessible language. It's a truth so fundamental, so close to our own experience, that we often overlook it. It's a radical shift in understanding where stress truly originates, and therefore, where the power to overcome it resides. It begins not by changing the world, but by understanding our own minds. Consider this. Two people experience the exact same event, a missed deadline, a critical comment, a sudden change of plans. One person might spiral into anxiety and frustration, their day ruined. The other might acknowledge it, adapt, and move forward with relative calm. The event was the same. What was different? The ancient secret points directly to this difference. The Buddha taught that suffering, including what we call stress, does not primarily arise from external events. This is a revolutionary idea. We are conditioned to blame our stress on our jobs, our relationships, the news, the traffic. But these are merely triggers, not the fundamental cause. The true source, he suggested, lies much closer to home, within our own perception. Imagine your mind is like a still lake. External events are like stones thrown into it. Some stones are small, some are large. But it's not the stone itself that determines the size of the ripples, it's the state of the lake. If the lake is already turbulent, even a small pebble creates chaos. If the lake is calm and deep, even a larger stone's impact is absorbed. Our stress, therefore, isn't truly caused by the difficult boss or the mounting bills. These are the stones. The stress is the turbulent reaction of our mind, the way we interpret and internally respond to these events. The ancient secret begins with recognizing this critical distinction. The world happens, but suffering is optional, a product of our inner landscape. This understanding doesn't mean we become passive or ignore problems. It means we shift our focus from trying to control every external event, an impossible task, to cultivating the inner state that can meet any event with wisdom and composure. This is where our true power lies, the power to end stress for good. So what creates this inner turbulence, this mental reactivity that turns neutral events into sources of profound stress? The Buddha identified two primary culprits, attachment and aversion. These are the twin forces that constantly pull our minds out of balance, leading to agitation and suffering. Attachment in this context refers to our clinging to things we desire, positive outcomes, pleasant sensations, specific people, or even ideas about how life should be. When we are heavily attached, any threat to these desires or their actual loss causes us immense pain and anxiety. We are trying to hold onto flowing water. Think about a promotion you desperately wanted, a relationship you couldn't imagine living without, or even the simple expectation of a peaceful weekend. The more tightly we cling to these desired outcomes, the more stressed and fearful we become about not achieving them or about them changing. This clinging is a setup for disappointment. Aversion is the other side of the coin, the pushing away of things we find unpleasant. This could be difficult emotions like fear or sadness, uncomfortable situations, criticism, or physical pain. We resist what is, fighting against the reality of the moment, and this resistance itself becomes a major source of stress. When we encounter something we don't like, our immediate impulse is often to resist it, deny it, or try to escape it. This struggle against what is creates enormous tension. It's like being caught in quicksand. The more we fight, the deeper we sink. The unpleasantness might be a fact, but the prolonged suffering comes from our battle against it. The Buddha spoke of the second arrow. The first arrow is an unavoidable painful event, an illness, a loss, a criticism. It happens. The second arrow, however, is our reaction to it. Why me? This is terrible. I can't stand it. This second arrow is self-inflicted, born of aversion, and it's often far more painful and damaging than the first. Stress, then, is often this second arrow. It's not just the difficult circumstance, but our internal resistance, our judgment, our story about the circumstance. We tell ourselves how awful it is, how unfair, how it shouldn't be happening. This narrative, fueled by aversion, amplifies our distress significantly. So the ancient secret isn't about eliminating first arrows. Life will always present challenges. It's about learning not to shoot ourselves with the second, third, and fourth arrows of our own making. It's about changing our relationship with both attachment and aversion, understanding their grip on our peace of mind. This brings us to the activity of the mind itself. Our minds are incredible tools, capable of great creativity and problem solving. But left unobserved, they can also be relentless factories of stress, constantly churning out worries about the future and regrets about the past. We become prisoners of our own thoughts. How often do you find yourself replaying a past mistake, imagining future catastrophes, or lost in a whirlwind of what-ifs? This is the untrained mind at work. It rarely rests in the present moment, where life is actually happening. Instead, it drags us into imagined scenarios that fuel anxiety and unease. The Buddha realized that this mental time travel is a primary driver of suffering. When we dwell on the past, we experience regret or resentment. When we fixate on the future, we experience anxiety and fear. True peace, he taught, can only be found in one place, the present moment. But how do we free ourselves from these deeply ingrained patterns of attachment, aversion, and mental restlessness? The path shown by the Buddha isn't about suppression or forceful control. It's about developing a new kind of relationship with our inner world, one based on awareness. This awareness is often called mindfulness. It's the practice of paying attention on purpose in the present moment and non-judgmentally. It sounds simple, yet it's profoundly transformative. It's like turning on a light in a dark room. Suddenly, you can see what's really there. With mindfulness, we begin to observe our thoughts without automatically believing them or getting swept away by them. We see them as they are, transient mental events like clouds passing in the sky. Ah, there's a worry thought. There's an anger thought. This observation creates a space, a gap between us and our thoughts. In this space, we find freedom. We realize we are not our thoughts. We are the awareness that observes the thoughts. This is a monumental shift. The thoughts may still arise, the worries may still knock, but they no longer have the same power to define our reality or dictate our emotional state. Similarly, we learn to observe our emotions. Instead of being consumed by anger or anxiety, we can acknowledge its presence. Anger is here. We feel its sensations in the body, the tightness in the chest, the heat in the face, without judgment or resistance. We simply allow it to be as a temporary weather pattern. This non-judgmental observation is key. Usually, when an unpleasant emotion arises, we either try to suppress it, aversion, or we get lost in it, fueling it with more thoughts, attachment to the drama. Mindfulness offers a third way, to be with the emotion, to understand it, and to let it pass naturally. One of the simplest ways to anchor our awareness in the present is by paying attention to our breath. The breath is always with us, always happening now. Focusing on the sensation of the in-breath and the out-breath can be a powerful refuge from the mind's chatter and the world's demands. When you find your mind wandering, and it will, that's its nature, gently bring your attention back to the breath. Each time you do this, you are strengthening your mindfulness muscle. You are training your mind to be more present, more stable, and less reactive. This is the foundation of inner peace. As we cultivate this present moment awareness, we begin to see the impermanent nature of all things, including our thoughts, emotions, and even stressful situations. Nothing stays the same. This understanding helps to loosen the grip of attachment and aversion. If everything is changing, why cling so tightly or resist so fiercely? This leads us to the next crucial element in ending stress: acceptance. Not resignation or condoning harm, but a clear-eyed acceptance of what is in this present moment. It means acknowledging reality without arguing with it. It is raining. Fighting this fact won't stop the rain. It only makes you wet and miserable. When we resist reality, we create tension. This shouldn't be happening. I don't want this. This mental fight is exhausting. Acceptance, on the other hand, conserves our energy. It allows us to see the situation clearly without the distorting lens of our preferences, so we can respond more wisely. Acceptance doesn't mean you have to like the situation. You can accept that you feel anxious or that someone has treated you unfairly without agreeing that it's good. Acceptance is simply the starting point. Without accepting what is, you cannot effectively move towards what could be. You can't change what you don't acknowledge. Paradoxically, it is often only when we fully accept a difficult situation or emotion that it begins to lose its power over us. When we stop fighting it, we stop feeding it energy. It can then move through us and pass, like a storm cloud that eventually gives way to sunshine. Think of a time you were truly stressed. How much of that stress was due to the situation itself, and how much was due to your resistance to it, your wishing it were different? Acceptance is the key that unlocks the chains of this internal struggle, allowing for a profound sense of relief. Coupled with acceptance is the wisdom of non-attachment, or letting go. This doesn't mean becoming cold or indifferent. It means understanding that all things are impermanent, and that clinging to them as if they were permanent is a sure path to suffering. It's about loving and appreciating without needing to possess or control. We often attach our happiness to specific outcomes. I'll be happy when I get that job, when I find that partner, when my problems disappear. Non-attachment invites us to find contentment now, regardless of external circumstances. It's an inner state of okayness that isn't dependent on things going our way. Letting go of outcomes doesn't mean giving up on goals. You can still strive, create, and work towards what you value. But you do so with a lighter touch, understanding that your ultimate well-being doesn't depend solely on achieving a particular result. The journey itself, undertaken with awareness, becomes meaningful. Consider expectations. So much of our stress comes from our expectations of ourselves, of others, and of life. When reality doesn't match these rigid expectations, we suffer. Letting go involves softening these expectations, allowing for more flexibility, more flow, more acceptance of life as it unfolds. Letting go also applies to past hurts, grievances, and regrets. Carrying these burdens is like carrying heavy stones in our pockets. They weigh us down and prevent us from moving freely. Forgiveness of ourselves and others is a profound act of letting go, liberating us from the chains of the past. The ancient secret, then, is this powerful trinity: awareness of our inner world, acceptance of present reality, and an attachment to outcomes and impermanent things. These are not passive states, but active, courageous ways of engaging with life that dismantle stress at its very root. This path doesn't promise a life free of challenges, Challenges are part of growth. What it offers is a way to meet those challenges without being consumed by stress, to navigate difficulties with a steady mind and an open heart. It offers resilience, not immunity. So, how do we begin to integrate this ancient wisdom into our busy, modern lives? It starts with small moments of intentional practice. You don't need to retreat to a mountaintop. The laboratory for this practice is your daily life, right here, right now. Begin by dedicating just a few minutes each day to quiet observation. Sit comfortably, close your eyes if you wish, and bring your attention to your breath. Notice the sensation of air entering and leaving your body. No need to change anything, just observe. This is your anchor to the present. When your mind wanders to thoughts, plans, or worries, and it will gently acknowledge where it has gone, and then softly guide your attention back to your breath. Treat your mind with kindness, like training a playful puppy. Each return is a victory for presence. Throughout your day, try to bring mindful awareness to simple activities. When washing dishes, feel the warm water and soap. When eating, taste your food. When walking, feel your feet on the ground. These small moments of presence accumulate, building your capacity for calm. When you notice feelings of stress arising, pause. Instead of reacting immediately, take a breath. Ask yourself, what am I resisting right now? What am I clinging to? Is there a second arrow I'm adding to this situation? This brief inquiry can interrupt the automatic stress response. Practice naming your emotions without judgment. This is anxiety. This is frustration. This is disappointment. Simply naming it creates a little distance, allowing you to see it as a temporary experience rather than being consumed by it. It's an emotion you have, not an emotion you are. Remember impermanence. When you feel overwhelmed, remind yourself, this too shall pass. Both pleasant and unpleasant experiences are transient. This understanding can help you endure difficult times with more patience and appreciate good times with less clinging. Cultivate gratitude. Actively look for things to be thankful for, no matter how small. Gratitude shifts your focus from what's lacking to what's present, from problems to blessings. It's a powerful antidote to the mind's negativity bias, which often fuels stress. This journey of cultivating inner peace is not a quick fix, but a lifelong practice. There will be days when it feels easy and days when it feels challenging. Be patient and compassionate with yourself. Every moment of awareness, every act of acceptance, every instance of letting go is a step forward. The ancient secret of the Buddha is not a dogma to be blindly followed, but an invitation to investigate your own experience, to become your own inner scientist. The truth of these teachings is found not in books, but in the laboratory of your own mind and heart. As you practice, you may notice that stressful situations don't disappear entirely, but your relationship to them changes profoundly. You become less reactive, more resilient. The storms still come, but you find you have an unshakable anchor within. You are the calm eye of the storm. This inner calm isn't a dull, emotionless state. On the contrary, by reducing the noise of stress, you open yourself up to experiencing life more fully. Its joys, its sorrows, its beauty, its challenges, all with a greater sense of presence, wisdom, and compassion. The promise of ending stress for good is not about achieving a mythical state of perpetual bliss where nothing ever bothers you. It's about developing the inner resources to meet all of life's experiences without generating unnecessary, prolonged suffering. It's about freedom from the tyranny of your own reactive mind. This profound shift in perspective is the ancient secret. It's the understanding that the key to peace lies not in controlling the uncontrollable world outside, but in mastering the controllable world within. The power has been within you all along, waiting to be discovered and cultivated. Consider the energy you currently spend resisting, worrying, and replaying events. Imagine redirecting that energy towards cultivating presence, acceptance, and wisdom. This is not about adding another task to your to-do list, but about fundamentally changing how you relate to all your tasks and to life itself. The relief that comes from this understanding is immense. It's like finally putting down a heavy burden you didn't even realize you were carrying so persistently. The world may not change, but you change, and therefore your experience of the world is transformed. This path, illuminated by the Buddha's insights, is one of increasing freedom, clarity, and peace. It's a journey back to your own innate wisdom, your own natural state of calm, which has merely been obscured by layers of conditioning and mental habit. So the next time stress arises, remember this ancient secret. Pause, breathe, observe. Are you caught in attachment? Are you fueling aversion? Can you meet this moment with a little more awareness, a little more acceptance? This is where your freedom begins. The teachings of the Buddha offer a profound psychology of mind, one that empowers us to take responsibility for our own inner landscape. It's a timeless map to navigate the complexities of human experience and find lasting peace, not by avoiding life, but by engaging with it more skillfully. This isn't about becoming emotionless. It's about becoming emotionally intelligent, understanding the arising and passing of feelings without being enslaved by them. It's about feeling deeply, yet remaining anchored in a core of unshakable serenity. The secret is that you already possess the capacity for this peace. It's not something you need to acquire from outside. It's something to uncover within. Like a sculptor revealing the statue within the stone, you are chipping away the habits of mind that obscure your natural radiance. Embrace the journey. Each moment of mindful presence, each small act of letting go, each breath taken in awareness is a step towards ending stress for good. It is a return to the profound simplicity of being, here and now. The ancient wisdom of the Buddha remains as relevant today as it was millennia ago because the human mind and its tendencies haven't changed. The causes of stress are timeless, and so too is the path to its cessation. To end stress for good is to realize that stress is not an enemy to be vanquished, but a signal, a teacher. It points to where we are stuck, where we are resisting, where we are clinging. By listening to its message with awareness, we find the path to liberation. The peace that arises from this understanding is not fragile. It is robust, resilient, and deeply rooted in wisdom. It is a peace that the world cannot give, and therefore, a peace that the world cannot take away. This is the true meaning of ending stress for good. May you find the courage to look within, the patience to practice, and the wisdom to uncover the profound peace that is your birthright. The ancient secret is now yours to explore and embody. Remember, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step, or in this case, a single breath taken in full awareness. Start there. The calm you seek is closer than you think. It resides within you, waiting. The end of stress is not an endpoint, but a new way of living moment by moment, breath by breath, with greater awareness, deeper acceptance, and a lighter heart. May this ancient wisdom illuminate your path.